'cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Victor Boot, in my eyes, is one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
On the face of the earth.
Without a doubt.
Mike Braun, the former chief of operations for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, told us Boot first exploded on the scene in war-torn West Africa in the late 1980s. Elevating bloody conflicts from machetes and single-shot rifles to
AK-47s, not by the thousands, but by the tens of thousands.
So he weaponizes civil war in Africa.
He transformed these young adolescent warriors into insidious, mindless, maniacally driven killing machines that operated with assembly line efficiencies.
Now 43, Boot from the Soviet Republic of Tajikistan is a mystery man who reportedly served in the Soviet Air Force and Intelligence Service. The U.S. has indicted him on 4 terror-related charges, including conspiracy to kill Americans.
What makes him a threat to the United States?
He is a shadow facilitator. He's arming not only designated terrorist groups, insurgent groups, but he's also arming very powerful drug trafficking cartels around the globe.
Taking advantage of Russian military contacts at the highest levels and the collapse of the Soviet Union, federal prosecutors allege Boot essentially became a one-stop shop, offering an unlimited supply of stockpiled Cold War weapons to bad guys around the world, including Charles Taylor of Liberia, who's now on trial for war crimes. According to the U.S. indictment, Boot had a unique selling point when it came to weapons trafficking: a fleet of cargo airplanes capable of transporting weapons and military equipment anytime, anywhere. More than 60 planes in all, his own private air force.
Those Russian aircraft were built like flying dump trucks. He could move this stuff and drop it with pinpoint accuracy to any desert, to any jungle, to any other remote place in the world, right into the hands of what I refer to as the potpourri of global scum.
So this situation with Brittney Griner, I think I can navigate this to explain both sides in a way that I think, at least in some regards, both sides would find satisfactory. On the left, you have them cheering this because Brittney Griner is one of them. She is a far-left, anti-American black lesbian. And so she's part of their group, their ideology, so they consider that a major win. Now, don't ask them to go out and protest for all of the people wrongfully, in my view, wrongfully incarcerated for marijuana-related crimes. The people in America that are still in prison, they're not going to say anything about them. Because really, at the end of the day, this was all about a cheap political win. They get to go out there and celebrate and say that this is great, and we just won big. Biden did something amazing. Woo! Go us. And the reason why they're attacking conservatives by saying the only reason that you're mad, conservatives, and I'm going to explain the conservative side in a moment, but the only reason that you're mad is because you hate the LGBT community, you hate women, you hate black people, and you hate people that speak their mind about police injustice. You just hate her for those reasons. And the reason why they're doing that, and the reason why they're so loud about their protestation, is because they don't want you to look at the conversation any further. They want to distract you with that. So they're waving their arms up and down and essentially saying, don't look any further. Look over here. Look over here. Oh, racist, sexist, bigot, ha ha ha. And a lot of conservatives took the bait. And they engaged with this conversation. And they started going into the left's trap. But I'm going to stop you right here, and I'm going to tell you the reason they're doing this is because they don't want you to look at the actual truth of the story. And the truth is, this was not a win. This was not a victory. This is not a moment of celebration. what happened here is going to lead to the death of many people, because the people involved in this, on one side, you've got a WNBA player that is black, that is lesbian, but ultimately nothing else. She is of no note or consequence in any way. And after the left has chewed her up and spit her out, she will be forgotten immediately. Because the left is all about flavors of the moment, what makes them feel important and powerful and virtuous. But at the end of the day, they don't actually care about this woman. Because if they did, if they genuinely cared about the unfair treatment of people prosecuted for drug-related crimes, they would be out there every day bringing up some name of some person who was arrested on marijuana-related crimes and be advocating for them to be released. But they never do that. They never will do that because they don't care. Okay. So, the person that was released, that the left is desperate for you not to talk about, is somebody that goes by the name the Merchant of Death. It's not an Xbox gamer tag. It's not a joke. The person that they released is a very, very, very dangerous person. And likely people are going to die because this person was released. So, the left doesn't want you to hear that. They don't want you to talk about that. They just want to talk about this as a big win. And they want to malign the people they don't like. They want a virtue signal. Because as we talk about all the time, the left are a bunch of self-glorifying, self-worshipping, delusional, radical, narcissistic weirdos. They are the most degenerate, self-centered people you could ever hope to meet, and they have no shame, no scruples, no morality. They don't view the world the way that you and I do. The way they view the world is through an exchange of power. Whatever gets them the most power, they will support it at a moment's notice. Doesn't matter if 1 day ago they were advocating for something else. Doesn't matter if 1 week ago they were advocating for something else. They will abandon any position they've previously taken to take up a new position in order to get power. Now, the way that the right views this is, well, okay, this person was clearly anti-American. This person was a pot-smoking criminal. And so it's very easy to see why the right believes what they believe in this, but I don't, as somebody who's libertarian on drugs, I don't agree that she should have been in prison. But here's the thing. I say that, but I don't live in Russia. I'm not in control of Russia. Russia has its own laws. It is a very American sentiment to believe that just because you think something or you feel something, that the rest of the world should bow to you. It's not true. It's not true. So, while you and I may feel a certain type of way, Russia has laws, and she broke those laws. Meanwhile, the Marine that is in prison in Russia, that got overlooked, that guy's still there. And it only further demonstrates the weakness of America. When we can't negotiate for one of our Marines, but they can negotiate this fucking nobody, this loser. And I understand every life is important. I understand that, when it comes to protecting life, I would protect anyone's life over them just being needlessly hurt or executed. I understand that. Her life has value in that she's a human being. But this person is going to go on and do absolutely nothing with her life. The WNBA is a joke. No, I'm not trying to get into a thing of everyone has to have worth, otherwise they don't matter. But I'm talking about in comparison to what was exchanged. This person is going to go on being an anti-American, dope-smoking WNBA player who gets way overpaid and no one's going to care. But that merchant of death, that guy's going to go on to do some pretty terrible things. So I hope they implanted this guy with a chip. I hope they did something, anything, to keep track of this guy so they can go track him down again. But I don't know. It's terrible. So this isn't a win. You know, the left is trying to cheer it as a win. It's not a win. It's not a victory. You know, it's heartbreaking. Because this guy is free and that Marine is not. And yeah, it's not a win. You know, I'm glad that Brittney Griner is coming back only because I think that what was done to her is wrong. But at the end of the day, I don't care that much because there are people in America who are in prison for nonviolent marijuana-related crimes that are still in prison, and the left doesn't say shit about them. They don't care. It's not a political win. It's not enough for them to virtue signal on. No, it's not enough of a self-absorbed narcissistic outlet. They can't worship themselves as being so benevolent when it's something like that. These people are truly the most vapid, insane, deranged, delusional, immoral people I've ever seen. These are people that defend pedophiles. Recorded on video pedophiles. Because they think, well, we're standing with the LGBT community. You know, I used to live in California. And I disagree with gay marriage on religious grounds. I don't approve of that lifestyle. I find homosexuality to be disgusting. Insofar as I don't want to see it. I don't want to watch two guys kissing. Just like a lot of the gay people that I knew in California didn't like to watch women kissing. And they didn't like to watch men kissing women. It was sort of like whatever, kind of an uncomfortable thing where, it was not their thing. It was kind of gross to them. And I have to tell you, all of the gay people that I knew in California, they were as anti-pedophile as anyone I've ever met. Because they knew that these people were using their community, their lifestyle, as a shield to do this unspeakable and evil thing on kids. So don't think it's the entire LGBT community and that they're just oblivious. They know what's going on. And most of them, or many of them, are against it. It's just that the ones that are the loudest, the activists, they're the ones that are on board with all of it. They're the ones making the noise. So I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I don't associate pedophilia with the gay community or anything like that. It's just not true. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what I'll say to end things is this. It's disappointing. It's unfortunate that we live in the political climate that we do, where the left will actively ignore that a deranged, murderous, dangerous madman was let loose because they want a cheap political win. We're dealing with the most vacuous, vapid, unsubstantial people. Just nothing. There's nothing to them. There's nothing to them. They are the most shifting allegiance, shifting tide people. And I don't want people like that anywhere around me. They're weak. They're vapid. And they have nothing to rely on. If I had to say, it's because they worship themselves, and themselves are not worthy of worship. There's only one being that's worthy of worship, and that's God. In the form of God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They are the only ones worthy of worship. And it's through knowing, embracing, and accepting them that people come to know humility, come to know grace, come to know compassion, and come to know substance. Being a substantive, compassionate, understanding, wonderful person. That comes through the understanding of knowing of Jesus, because he was the one born without sin. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm going to end things today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.